Okay, so it's my course reflection. Yay. Um, as far as what I learned throughout the entire course that I didn't know before, one thing I didn't know before was basically how VR and AR and that whole genre, I guess, how that is becoming more of a reality, how it's becoming more mainstream and part of everyday life rather than just sort of this niche thing that not many people used or could afford to use. Um, it's definitely got a lot of real world applications that are definitely very useful. And for the most part, I don't see anything wrong with that trend. Another thing that I didn't know before was the number of weird internet subcultures and how weird some of them can be. I always knew that they existed online, I just didn't know how far people would necessarily go to saying, oh, okay, I like shoplifting, or I don't know, I like stapling garlic bread to trees. And yes, that is the internet subculture. But I didn't know how strange it could potentially get. Um, so one of the most interesting parts of the course, one of them, again, like I just said, is weird subcultures. I found that to be sort of entertaining, to say the least. It was definitely fun. It was definitely a fun read and interesting to do research on. Um, Another interesting part of the course were the alt-right cultures that were online. I thought that to be somewhat interesting, definitely, but also very, what's the word? Um, I guess relevant would be a nice way to put it, because obviously with Trump in as a president, it's definitely going to increase their presence and maintain their legitimacy, no matter whether or not how crazy they may seem. As far as applying this knowledge elsewhere, I would definitely say that it's useful in determining what's real and makes sense when looking online. I mean, obviously, when you're looking online, you can't just take everything at face value. I mean, there's probably something more to it. You gotta read between the lines as you normally should nowadays, but this definitely reinforces that. Another thing is that we really should try to contain some aspects about ourselves to ourselves. I mean, just with all the weird subcultures, I mean, I could see some of them being like some weird fetish, but it doesn't mean we should try to gravitate toward that weird habit or idea. Um, it's it's just something you really should try to be careful about doing. And there's not much else left to say. So, see ya.